checked in. That was really quick. Right. So, yep, reminder on how to submit assignments. So you've got the Notion page now with all the assignments week by week. So if you are following back or if you're a bit late for one of the assignments, don't worry, that's fine. Just go back and submit it when you've got time to do that. Just make sure you are uploading your code continuously onto GitHub and then share the link. But I think we're all okay with the submission, so that's okay. And then catching up via recordings. So if you joined the program late, that's fine. Or if you've had technical trouble and you've not had a chance to actually do anything beyond any code we did in the first session, that's fine, because all the sessions are recorded. But it is good that you're still coming and learning it live, because then you can ask me any questions throughout the session, and then we will hopefully get down to all the errors. But everything is recorded, so you can always go back and follow it at your own pace, especially when doing your assignments. Right, let me just let Ingrid in as well. Okay, awesome. Hi, Ingrid. I'm just going to go back here quickly. If you can sign in, that'll be awesome, so you don't miss out on that. So I'll just leave that there for a second.
I'm doing it. You can take it off. Sorry.
Okay.
Apologies for being late.
No, that's fine. Right, perfect. Right. So if you're coding on a tablet or mobile device, we recommend the Replit app. Again, I know there have been some issues. Don't worry. Today we will go through it at the end of the session and hopefully we can fix it all. If not, we'll get it sorted by Saturday. Right, let's jump into today's session. We've got a lot of work to do today, a lot of code to write. So I will just quickly dive right in and explain and everything we're gonna do. Right. Okay, so continuing to build on top of last week's work, we're going to understand the difference between lists and tuples and perform basic operations on them. We're going to develop a to-do list application using lists. And don't worry about the contract management thing. We're just going to focus on the to-do list using lists. So what are we going to build today? So today we're going to be building a simple to-do list and broken down. So breaking down the task into smaller chunks, we're going to display a message to the user to input a task that they need to do. We're going to allow the user to input. So we're going to display the message to tell them what to do, allow them to actually do it. And then we're going to manage the list as well. So we're going to add tasks, remove tasks, and marking tasks as complete. So relatively straightforward function of the program. But I will explain what everything is as we go along, okay? This will be one of the longest codes you've written so far, okay? So there's quite a lot to do. Again, if you are struggling to write and it's not working for you, don't worry, that's fine. Just follow along everything and just keep watching what I'm doing. So then when we fixed all the errors, you're able to just quickly progress with everything. Reminder, you're not expected to memorize everything we cover today. So can you guys just have your Replit or Trinket open up and just give me a thumbs up when you've managed to do that? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Right. So while everyone's getting that open, I'm just going to explain what a list is and a tuple is, okay? So a list is a way which you can store a lot of information in one place, in one variable. So rather than having name equals, so far for our variables, we have, you don't need to write this, by the way, just pay attention for now. So right now we've had things like name equals Arjun, or we've had age equals 32. And we've had variables basically in single lines with single bits of information, okay? What we want to do is how do we store a bunch of information that's related in one place? Well, we can use either a list or a tuple. So, for example, and this is the one that I give most of the time. So we've got shopping list, okay? And remember, we can't have spaces within our variables, so we use camel casing, all right? Because it looks like a camel thumb because we've capitalized the next letter. So for a shopping list, it is one bit of it's like one place of information, right? Where we want to store all of the stuff we want to buy for our shopping. So we can use a list. And can you see here, I'm using square brackets for a shopping list. All right. Now, within my square brackets, I'm going to have my items. Now, remember, it's the data type still matters. So if we're storing words, we still need our speech marks. And if we're storing numbers, we don't want to use the speech marks. Okay, if we want to store integers, right? So for our program here, so for our shopping list, I'm just going to add tomatoes, pears. I'm just going to zoom it out a little bit. There we go. Tomatoes, pears. And let's go for something that's not a fruit. Let's go for toothpaste. Right, so you can see here, I've separated them via commas. Now it is all in one place. So if I wanted to print my shopping list, all I do is I print my variable exactly how I normally print variables without anything around them. So this will now access this and print out what we need. So I'm going to just get rid of this for now. I press play. You can see here I've got tomatoes, pears, toothpaste, all in one place. Okay. And if I want to just print it to look nicer without any of the, you know, all the speech marks and everything, if I just put a star at the front of it, you can see here it prints out tomatoes, pears, toothpaste. All right. So it's a way of storing a bunch of information in one place. So is everyone happy with what I've just mentioned? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any questions about anything I've just said? I'll
No.
take yes and no?
No, that's fine.
No,
Great.
it's all good. Okay, awesome. Right. So all with me. Right. So the reason why we use a list is because we can append to it. So we can add to it, remove from it, and we can add to it like wherever we want inside it, which is quite functional. So a list is very easy to do stuff like that with. So what I want to do is, let's say I want to add to the end of the list. Okay. So what I can do is I can use a function called append. So what I can do here is I can go shopping list dot append, and append is just adding to the end. Okay. So I can go shopping list dot append pineapples. Now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to do this append after here. Okay, so and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the shopping list after. So I'm going to print the shopping list as it was before first. I'm going to append pineapples, and then I'm going to print it out again to show you. So you can see here, initially you've got tomatoes, pears, toothpaste, and then you've got tomatoes, pears, toothpaste, and pineapples after we've added it, just to make that look a bit nicer. Tomatoes, pears, toothpaste, tomatoes, pears, toothpaste, and pineapples. Now, if I just got rid of this print, just to print right at the end after we've done all the adding, you can see here, pineapples has been added. So that is our final list. All right. Is everyone clear with how append works? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So the key thing to note with append is that it adds to the end. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another way of deleting an item. So I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. So I'm going to show you dot remove. Now with dot remove, I will tell it exactly which item I want to remove. So I want to remove pears. Okay, so I've appended pineapples and I want to remove pears. Now, if I run it through, you can see here that it gets rid of pears. All right, which is awesome. It's exactly what we want to do. Now, situations may occur where you don't know what's in the list. Okay, so for example, if rather than me saying this is what's in the shopping list, if I ask the user to enter what they wanted in their shopping list, I don't know what they've entered. All right. They could enter fruits, they could enter vegetables, they could enter clothes, they could enter TVs. So in that case, we won't want to remove by item. okay? Because we don't know what they've entered. We might just want to say, we want to remove the first item within the list. So, for example, let's say you've got a shopping trolley full of items. When you give it to the cashier, they just remove the first thing from the shopping trolley, don't they? And that's the same procedure as for any shopping trolley that's getting passed through. So regardless of what items are in it, we just want to remove the first item, and then the second item, and then the third item. Now, the important thing to note before all of this is that computers start counting from 0. Okay, so lists are what you call in Python 0 indexed. Now, what that means is to print tomatoes, if I wanted to print the first item in the list, can you see here? I'm putting square brackets after shopping list. If I want to print the first item, I print shopping list 0. If I want to print the second item, I want to print shopping list 1. Now, if I print shopping lists 1, I just want you guys to put in the chat, what do you think is going to get printed out? Okay. I'm glad to have some differing views on this. Right. So remember, with the way our code is here, we've printed our list. We've made our list. Ah, there we go. I think Alessandra's realized. Yep. And I can see, I think Anthony put it at the beginning. Awesome. Right. So we've added pineapples to the end, but we've removed pears before we've printed it. Okay. So pears has been removed. So if I print shopping lists 1, the second item at that point is now toothpaste. Okay. So you got to note down things that happen in between, all right? Which is why we print with indexes, because if I tried to print shopping list pairs, then it would have just not worked, all right? Would have ended up with an error. So because we're printing with indexes, now if I go shopping list 2, that'll be what's after pears, what's after toothpaste, which is pineapples. All right, and that's the last item in our list. So if I tried 3, we'll end up with an error. It's out of range, okay? Because it just doesn't work. So 2 is our final one. So remember, it starts from 0, then 1, then 2, etc., etc. And if I want to print... Now, if I want to remove an item that's at the beginning of the list, what I can do... Shopping list 0 equals... You're trying to print a statement there and then trying to make it equal. That won't work. So if you try and do something like this, yeah, you can't print a statement and then do this, okay? To check whether one thing is equal to another. Oh, so you're just pointing out that 0 is tomatoes. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Awesome. I will go through how to compare actually at the end as well, because that is a really important point there about how to check whether an item is in there. Right. So in order to delete an item for using the indexes, we write del, we write shopping list, square brackets, and we specify the item we want to remove. So if I want to remove the first item, again, I'm going to put it in the chat. What number would I use to print the first item? Write it in the chat for me. Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Amazing. Right. So beginning of the list, 0. Okay. So the first item, which, as we've been pointed out, it is tomato. So if I now print the list, you can see here, now we've added pineapples, we've removed pears, and we've deleted the first item, which is 0. Okay. So which is toothpaste. But we didn't need to know what was the first item. Now, if I run this again, same line of code again, we'll remove the first item that is in the list now, after we've removed pears and we've removed toothpaste and we've removed tomatoes. So the next thing that'll get removed is now this has become the start of the list. So this will get removed. And you're left with pineapples. Right. Is everyone clear with everything that I have said so far? Is there any bits where I've kind of lost you or you want me to explain again? Or are we all good? I'll take the silence as we're all good. Yeah, can I just get a thumbs up then if everyone's okay for me to move on? Awesome.
Sorry, it's really fiddly for me to get to my thumbs up on my iPad, but
That's
it's
all
all clear. I've been trying a few times. Apologies, sometimes I'm not quick enough.
No worries at all. That's absolutely fine. But thanks for letting me know. Okay, awesome. Right. So we're all with everything so far, which is good. Now, the difference between a list and a tuple that I'd mentioned before is that a tuple looks ever so slightly different in that it doesn't use square brackets, it uses normal brackets. Okay, so we have normal brackets like this around it. All right. The difference with, so if I just printed out the tuple, so like this, you can see it prints out exactly the same with the brackets, with everything. Now, the only difference is tuple is a set data structure, okay? So it's immutable. We can't change it. So if I now run this, you can see tuple has no attribute append. You can't add to it. You can't remove from it. You can't delete it. It is set, okay? And you might be wondering, why would we have that? What's the point? Why wouldn't we just use a list? Certain times you don't want to have a situation where you can allow the programmers further on to delete anything or the user to potentially delete anything. So for example, let's say you're storing, again, this is just it's a very different scenario. You would never store like important government information in a tuple. But if you were to store something like government information that you don't want deleted, within your tuple, within a list, that could easily be deleted. It could easily be changed. Whereas if you put it in a tuple, it can't. All right. So that's the only difference between a list and a tuple. Well, yeah, that's one of the differences between a list and a tuple is that you can't add to it, change from it. So for the purposes of the program we're going to be building, we're going to have a list because it just means we can do a lot more with it. We can add to it, remove from it, delete it. So is everyone clear with what the difference is between a list and a tuple? So they're pretty much exactly the same. You just can't delete, append, or you can't amend a tuple in any way. But you can print them out exactly the same and store information in them exactly the same. Okay. Awesome. Right. So let's get started with our to-do list program. All right. So first, I'm going to show you what the program is going to look like. All right. So, right. Might be a bit too big. Right, here we go. So welcome to the simple to-do list. Enter A to add a task, V to view tasks, R to remove a task, or C to mark tasks as complete, or Q to quit. Okay, so first let's view the tasks that are there. So we're just going to press V and it says no tasks in the list. Okay, we've just started, so there's going to be no tasks. Now let me try and add a task. So we're going to go A, enter a task. So for my to-do list, I need to write my shopping list. Press enter. Task added successfully. Okay, now let's view my tasks. You can see here it says tasks 1A, write my shopping list. All right, and you can see there's a little box here that's ready for me to either tick or cross. Let's add another task. Oh no, I think I pressed. Oh, so sorry, guys. I accidentally pressed quit by mistake. Right. Right, we're gonna add a task. We're gonna say my shopping list. I'm gonna add another task. I'm gonna say teach lesson. Right. So now if I view my tasks, I've got 2 tasks there in the list. Right. So let me add one more task. I'm gonna say pick up the shopping. Right. So now if I view tasks, I've got 3 tasks in my list. Let's say I want to remove a task. I press R. Enter the index of the task I want to remove. So I want to remove pick up shopping because I can worry about that later. I've not even written my shopping list yet. So now if I view tasks, you can see it says task removed successfully. You can see here that there's 2 tasks left. Now, if I want to mark a task as complete, that would be C. Oh, have I done it again? Sorry, guys. Zoom's so fiddly that I keep accidentally quitting the program. Okay. Add a task, right. So you can see the removal is working fine. Oh, nope. I need to say I want to add a task again, and then I say teach lesson. So you can see that if I enter something wrong, it says invalid choice, please try again. Now, if I want to complete a task, enter the tasks I want to mark as complete. So I want to mark 1 as complete. So writing my shopping list, which we've just done. So if I view my tasks now, you can see here that it is checked off. Okay. Is everyone clear with how the program works? Now, if I press Q, it will just quit. Yeah. Thumbs up, guys. If you just understand the function of the program and how it's working. And if you've got any questions, just let me know as well. Nope, we're good. Okay, cool, we're good. So right, let's move on to here. Right, we're going to start writing our program now. So I'm just going to make the font size slightly bigger. Right. Okay, so first thing we want to write as the program that you guys saw was we want to print a welcome message. Okay, so I want to print a welcome message that is welcome to the simple to-do list. So I'm just going to show you that here. So this comment here is just to explain what I'm doing. So I want us to comment throughout our code. So just use a hashtag and then write it along. And Python, again, remember, ignores the hashtags. But this will just mean that it explains the program throughout. So if you come back to look at it later for your homework, for your assignment, sorry, then you can see what each line does. I know this is quite relatively straightforward, but as we go on. Now if I press play, welcome to the simple to-do list. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to initialize a list. So I want to make an empty list. Okay. Because I don't know what the user wants to enter yet, but we know we want to store it within a list. So I'm going to say tasks equals and create an empty list for all the tasks to go into. So can you guys just do that first for me? Oh, actually, let's comment this as well, I think. Create an empty list to store tasks. All right, and give me a thumbs up, guys, when you've done that so I know to move on. All right.
I'm having problems with Replit. It's trying to connect a keyboard. This is just what I need. Sorry.
Okay, that is a very common Replit issue. I know that happens to a lot of people, so just keep trying it and hopefully it does work. Take your time. If not, just try and follow along with what we're doing today and hopefully it'll work for you after the session. And you can go back with the recording and have a look. right, just let me know, guys, when you want me to continue, okay? So just give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you, Alessandra. Thank you, Adele. Sorry if I'm saying anyone's name wrong. Hanak, Anthony, are we okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Right, okay. So as you saw in the program kept going until I stopped, okay? Until I pressed quit, okay? So in order to do this, what we want to do is we want to write the entire program within a loop. So it's similar to what you did last week, where you write it within a while loop so that the program keeps continuously going until we stop it. All right. So we want to make sure we write all the program within the loop. If not, you would only be able to, it would only go through all the options once and then it would stop. So we don't want to do that. We want to be able to have the program keep asking the user, this is what you need to do to enter a task. This is what you need to do to view a task. This is what you need to do to remove a task, complete it or quit every time until they press quit. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to create a main loop. Now, this is the stage where I will say now, don't run your program until we've written everything. Okay, if you run your program, you're going to be stuck in an infinite loop. So we don't want to do that. Don't run it until we've written the code for the quitting, which we will do very shortly. So we're going to... So this is the main loop. So the main loop for the to-do list program. Okay, so what we're going to say is we're going to say while true, because right now we want to specify what the condition is. We're not going to say, we've not asked initially what a condition for us to do the program. We're going to ask it every time. We're going to say, do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? Or each time. And then when they say yes, then we quit. Okay. So what we want to do is, and as soon as you press enter after your semicolon, it should automatically indent, okay? If not, you've not written your semicolon properly. So make sure you've written your semicolon, press enter, it should automatically indent it for you, okay? Right. So now what we want to do is we want to prompt the user. So I've just pressed enter once just to space it out. You don't need to do this. You can just write it on the line. So we want to say prompt the user to write, to choose a task, choose an action. So what we want to do here is we want to write action equals, and our action here is going to be the input of saying, press this to do this, press this to do this. So we're going to say enter, what have we got? A to add a task. And I'm going to I use double quotations around all my quotes, okay? But here I'm going to write a single quotation. So remember, if you did a double here, that would mess the whole thing up. So that's why we've got the singles and doubles to differentiate it, okay? So we're going to say enter A to add a task. B to view tasks. R to remove a task. C to mark a task as complete. And Q to quit. Okay, so you can see that's quite long, but we want to write A to add a task, V to view tasks, R to remove a task, C to mark a task as complete, and Q to quit. Oh, not ideal. There we go. Right, and then if I press if you paste this in the yes, it does matter if the response is in small or capital letters. We're not going to error correct it this time. So if you can just keep it as lowercase for now. And if you did want to know how to force it to be either a capital or lower and make it not matter, I'll explain that later on if we've got some time. Okay? But for now, we want it to be lowercase. And here you go in the chat. So if you can't see it, you can just have a look there. Remember, this all needs to be indented. Okay, right. So I'm just gonna do the next bit because this bit is all relatively straightforward enough. So the next bit is to add a task. So we're gonna say, remember all of this is still indented. If action is equal to A, right? Because that is the criteria for adding a task. If they say they want to add a task, we want to say if action is A, we want to ask the user to enter a task. So we're going to say task equals input, enter a task, colon. So yeah, input, enter a task. And then what we're going to say is we're going to say tasks dot append. So remember, task is the individual task. Tasks is the list that we want to store all our tasks in. So remember task and tasks, the difference. Tasks dot append, we want to add it to our list, whatever the task is. What we want to do is we want to create what's called a dictionary, okay? And the reason why we're going to do this is each task needs to have a complete or not complete attached to it, okay? So what we want to say is we're going to create a dictionary. To do that, you use the squiggly brackets. So not the square brackets, the squiggly brackets. So we want to have two parts to our thing. We're going to say tasks. Now we want to say we want to have a key, so which is task. So we're going to say the task of our dictionary is going to say tasks. Whatever the user enters is going to be the actual task. And then we're going to write comma, and we're going to write complete, whether it's complete or not, is going to be equal to, and right now it's not, it's going to be equal to false, okay? Because as soon as the user enters the task, it's going to be false, right? They've not completed it yet. So we're going to say task is the task, and complete is whether it's complete or not, and right now it is false. And once they've done that, I'm just going to write one more line because this is relatively straightforward. It's just going to be print task added successfully. You see, it's relatively simple to add a task. So is everyone with me so far? Is there any questions that you have about any of this so far? No? Everyone's okay? Okay, remember right now, don't run your program. write all of this and just please give me a thumbs up. Right, I'm just gonna do a quick little check now. Is everyone okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you managed to do this okay. Right, everything all right? If you're okay with the understanding. And if not, please ask me any questions you may have. Okay, thank you, Adele and Anthony, for the thumbs up. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move on to the quit bit, because if we do that, then we can start running our program to check if it's actually working. Okay. So what we want to write is we want to write elif action equals Q. Right. What we want to do is, oh, can you see my program okay? So I've written elif action equals Q. We're going to print a nice little goodbye message. We'll print exiting program. Goodbye. And then what we want to do is print break. Okay. And that will just mean that the whole program will break. And finally, I'm going to write an else statement. If they enter anything else, basically, we want to write incorrect option, try again. So if they enter anything other than A, V, R, C, or Q. Okay. We want to print incorrect input. Try it again. Okay. And what this will mean is that we can now try our program. So we've got our if, elif, else, and we've got our condition to break out of this loop. So it's not going to keep going forever. So now, again, very importantly, I forgot to comment my program. So we're going to write quit the program. So this is error handling incorrect inputs. Okay. Now, if I just run this to show you, So I'm just going to show you Q for quit first. So exiting program goodbye. So you see that works. If I enter anything incorrectly, so if I enter, it says incorrect input, try again. You can see it goes back onto the program and it lets me go again. If I press I, again, it'll say incorrect input, try again, until I enter something I can do, like A for adding a task. And now enter a task works fine. I'm going to say tie shoelaces. Press enter, and you can see it says task added successfully. I can't view anything yet because I've not done the code for that, but task is added successfully. Now Q again for quit, and it will quit the program. So that is our main bulk of the program. And now all we need to do is we need to be able to view the task, remove the task, and mark a task as complete. So once everything's done, please give your program a run and see if it works, and give me a thumbs up if you're all okay with all of that. Because we've got quite a lot to do. I'm gonna move swiftly on in 2 minutes to the next bit, and then I will go over the bit after, and we're gonna try and finish the program by the end, and then any other questions I'll do at the end, and any difficulties we can go over on our Saturday session. If you can actually put it in the chat if you've done and it's all working, please, that'll be good. Just so I know that it's all there and I don't accidentally miss a thumbs up. Yeah, it's not working though. Okay. Right. Anthony, can you share your code with me, please? Adele, I'm gonna have a look at yours now. Actually, I'll have a look at it together so that everyone can see everything. Okay, so you can see here that it's kind of helping you out here. It says name error, input is not thing. Did you mean input? So it's just because of a little spelling mistake here. And you can see it was black before, but as soon as you change it to input, it changes to purple. And then yeah, everything else works fine. All right. So that was your only mistake, Adele. Is that okay? Does that make sense?
No, I am still writing incorrectly. I'm dyslexic, so maybe I just don't see it. What I do. I do see what you show. In ENPUT.
Yeah, INPUT. That was the only mistake you had. Everything else was fine with your code.
But it doesn't become purple. Wait.
Is it not becoming purple? No, it should. I mean, it's literally just
Wait a second. No, it's not became purple.
okay.
Infection.
Can you share your latest update with me?
Oh, wait. Maybe I am in the yeah, I see. Sorry, I'm on the wrong line.
Ah,
I
okay.
found it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
line 11. All right, awesome. No worries.
Thank you.
Right, Anthony, let's have a look at yours. I'm loving the way you've written the code. Um, Please enter a task. Yeah, that's fine. You can get rid of the print here, but it's fine if you want to keep it in there just to see. Q to quit. Oh, Q to quit isn't working. Right, let's have a look at Q. It's because you've not it's just because you've not printed an error message. It's actually printing fine. It's you just need to print like exiting program goodbye or something rather than printing Q, because right now all it's doing is printing Q. But
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, one thing that's not working is it's not adding more than one list, one thing. So
okay.
if I try and append a second task, it doesn't do that.
Okay, please enter a task, watch TV. Okay, add a task, please enter a task. And what are you printing?
So I want the complete
Okay,
list.
right. I see what, yeah, okay, I see what the issue is with your program. Do you know your task list here? You're making it within the loop, which means
Ah,
every time it runs, it's getting made new and it's getting refreshed. So you need to move this out of the loop.
okay, that's the problem. Okay,
That's
thank you.
No worries at all. Right, Ingrid, I will have a look at yours. Just 1 second. Ingrid, would you be able to share a link with me? Because if I try and paste your code in, I won't be able to see if there's any indentation mistakes.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
Oh, good for Replit. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries, that's fine. Okay, undetermined string literal. Right, okay, I can see here first you don't have a while loop yet. So you need to have a while loop.
Okay.
So you need to have a while true, like I have here. All right. And then all of this needs to be indented into the loop. Okay. And then you need to have your elif and quit before you start running it, because if you run it before that, it's just going to be stuck. So let's try this. Okay, undetermined string literal. I think that just means that you've missed the. Yeah, here you go.
Okay, I missed a
After
step, yeah.
you've missed the speech mark.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, you just missed the speech mark after task. That was the main issue. Other than that, everything should be okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Perfect. Right, awesome. Everyone seems to be making great progress. Right, well done, guys. Although we are quite a bit behind. So we might run slightly over. Okay. So, right, the next bit that we need to do is we want to view our tasks. So, right. So here, right, just above the quit, I'm going to write another elif. So remember, this needs to be in line with the other stuff. I'm going to write action equals, because your elifs need to be together. So you can't do it at the end after the else. So it has to be here. Action equals, v to view our tasks. Right, what we want to do is we want to say if there are any tasks first. If there's no tasks, there's no point. We just want to say there's no tasks in the list. So we want to say if tasks, and that just means if tasks isn't empty. All right, so all you need to say is rather than saying if tasks has nothing, we can just say if tasks. Okay, that just means if there are any tasks, we want to print tasks first. So we want to just print the word tasks. just to show that, these are tasks. Okay. Oh, sorry. That's meant to be a semicolon. Yeah, we want to just print out what the tasks are. And what we want to do is we want to print a for loop that basically goes over all of the tasks. It loops over the individual tasks. And then it prints it out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, for the sake of time, I'm just going to show it to you pasted. Right. So what we want to do is we're going to loop over the tasks to display them. So we're going to write for I in range. Okay, and that means for every index within our list, range len. Okay, and that just means for every task. All right, within the length of the task list. So if there's 5 tasks, we want to do it 5 times. If there are, so it's just getting the length of however many tasks there are in the list, and then it's saying that many times, but from 0 to whatever the range is, and the range is going to be 10 if there's 10 tasks, 5 if there's 5 tasks, 3 if there's 3 tasks. That's why we do range len tasks. Okay, and then colon. And then we've got a bit of a long print statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste these 2 lines in the chat so you guys have that with you. All right. So that is an F string that gets the task number. So the reason why we've done I plus 1 is, remember, the first computers start counting from 0. But we as humans don't number our lists from 0 to 10. We write it from 1. So we're just going to add 1 to whatever the number is. So if it's the 0 item in the list, we want it to say the first item in the list, etc., etc. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to do a full stop, and we want to say we want to mark it as X if it's complete, if the task size is complete. And if it's not, we want to say empty. All right. Because if we've not marked it, and we're going to worry about this bit later because we've not actually done any marking yet. Okay. So we're going to do that in the mark section. For now, just write this in. Okay. And it will make sense once you've written the marking bit, why we've written this line of code. Okay. So this is just saying if it's marked as complete, we want to say, we want to have a check there. If not, it needs to be blank. And then what we want is we want to write tasks I and the task. So we want to go through each item. So from 0 to whichever task. So every single task in the thing. So for the first time, it's going to be the first one, second time, second one, because it's a loop. And we want to print out the actual task name, because we don't want to print out task and complete. We just want it to print task, okay? Because we can see if it's complete with the X or not. All right. Once that bit's done, I'm going to make sure my indent is back in line with this if. And we're going to print no tasks. So if there are tasks, we want to loop through and print them. If not, we want to say there are no tasks in the list. Now, if I run my code and I say add a task. Oh, sorry, actually, let me quit. Let's try that again. And I want to view the tasks first. There's no tasks in the list, which works fine. If I add a task, write book, add a task, read book, and then I press V for view, you can see here tasks 1, because that was the number that we're looping through, the first item. Remember, we added 1 because it would say 0 otherwise. We put a full stop. And right now it's empty because we've not marked any of it yet. So it does this bit. It does the else empty bit. Then it actually goes through and prints the task. So the first one is write book. Second one is read book. And then that bit is finished and we get back to the actual main program. So I now need to just write Q for quitting. All right. So can you just write this bit down for me, please? And hopefully that works for you. And if you've got any questions, ask me now. No one, any questions? Is everyone clear with everything that we've just written? Does it all make sense? Why we've written it and what we've written? Right, I just need to sort my mic out. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to just turn my mic and camera off for a sec, and then I'll just come back. Okay, sorry, I'm back, guys. Could I please explain line 24 again? Yes, absolutely. Right, line 24. So, if I show you the actual code here, so I'm going to show you line 24 against this bit here. So this is the bit we're trying to do, okay? So tasks, 1, write book, 2, read book. Okay, so this is like the structure of what we want to do. So remember, line 23 is going through all the items in our task list and printing it line by line. Okay, so that's the purpose of what we want to do. Rather than have it all in one line and just the task, we want to print it all nice and neatly in a line, in multiple lines like this. So the first bit here is if you remember the start of the lesson, when we were doing the start of the lesson, I said that computers start counting from 0. So when this is being stored, write book, the first item you add, this index that the computer has stored it as is 0. And then the first item is 1, the second item, sorry, is 1, then the third item is 2, etc. So in order for us to print it out to actual humans, and rather than starting from 0, we want it to start from 1. So that's the first bit. It's just adding 1 to whatever the index is. So rather than starting from 0, we want it to say 1, okay, to whatever the index is. Then we've just got a dot here for space. And then we've got a space like here. Now, this bit here, again, this bit will make more sense when we've done the marking section. But essentially what it's saying is if we've marked it as complete, if tasks I complete, all right, so that will check if it's either true or false. So if you remember here, whenever we added a task, we made it false. So right now, it's doing this else bit. So because it's not marked as complete, it's printing an empty bit, so an empty space. If it was complete, if we set it to true, it would print an X in here instead. Okay? Sorry. Battery's dying. Yeah. Right. So that's that bit. So right now, everything will just have an empty space, every task. All right? Unless it's complete, then we would want an X. But right now, we've not done anything to make it ever change to true yet. Okay? The last bit here is actually printing the task itself. Now, remember for our task, we've stored it as task and complete. We don't want to actually print everything out. We just want to print out the actual task. All right? So that's why we've said for each task, whichever item it is. So remember, we're going through as a loop. So for the first task, print the task. For the second task, print the task. For the third task, print the task, etc. Does that make sense, Adele? A bit more? So in this
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
no worries at all. That is really hard, complicated code, guys. I am going through it at a really fast pace. So really well done for you guys for following through. Right, I'm going to move on now for the sake of time. Right, so if anyone needs to leave now, I understand because it has come to the end of our time and we are going over. So if you do need to leave, that's absolutely fine. Your assignment is going to be so just a quick reminder of how to upload your code. Is a budget tracker. So you want to do adding an income, adding an expense, viewing your financial summary, or quitting the program. Okay, so you just need to be able to add incomes and expenses separately. And then, so it's really similar to this. You want to view it, you want to add, but you're adding twice this time. You want to view and you want to quit. Okay, so you've got no marking as complete bit in there. So that's fine. So that is, so if you do want to leave now, that's absolutely fine. But I am going to show you guys how to do the removing and quitting now and marking. So if you do want to stay, I'm happy to stay a bit longer and finish that off. Okay. Right. And then if you do want to watch it back on the recording, that's absolutely fine. Right. So the next bit of code we want to do is we want to write an elif and we want to write an action again. So we're going to write elif action equals, and I want to write, so we've done V, we've done, we want to do M for marking a task. No, actually, shall we do remove? Let's do removing a task. Removing a task. Okay, awesome. Right. So our structure is going to be exactly very similar to this in the sense of to viewing a task. So we want to say if there are any tasks first, we want to do a bunch of code. If not, I'm going to write that bit here. Else, we want to print no tasks in the list. Yeah, because we don't want to remove, we can't really remove tasks if there are no tasks. So going back into the if statement, what we want to do is we want the user to type in an index of a task to remove. Okay, so the user will, if they see this one, if they want to remove write book, they're going to write in 1. So what we want to write is we want to find out the index. So we're going to ask the user, and remember, we want it to be an integer because we want it to be a number. So we're going to say input, enter the index you want to remove. Okay, so okay, so now the user will enter 1 or they'll enter 2 if they want to remove thing. But remember, the computer's not stored this as 1. We've made it look like 1, but it's actually 0, isn't it? The first item in the list. So what we want to do is whatever the user enters, we want to subtract 1 from it, okay? In order to get the actual correct index. Right. And the reason for that is because computers start counting from 0. Okay, so remember this is all within our if tasks. I'm just going to zoom out ever so slightly because just so you can see everything. Right. There we go. I think this works a lot better. Right. Okay. So that is the index that the user has entered. Now, what we want to do is we want to check if the index is within the length of the actual list. Okay. So if the user's entered a number like 100 and there's only 2 items, there's no point because you can't delete it. They've entered something wrong. So what we want to do is we want to check the length. We want to check where the number fits. So we're going to say if. We're going to have another if statement here. We're going to say if the index has to be greater than 0. So we're going to say greater than or equal to 0. Oh, sorry, it won't. Yeah, greater than or equal to 0 will be the index. And that has to be greater than or equal to, that has to be less than or equal to the length of the actual list. Okay? So it can't be greater than the actual length of the list because that means that they've gone overboard. All right? Okay, and if they've done that, all we need to do is delete the list. And this is exactly what we did at the start of the lesson. We did del tasks, square brackets, index. All right. And what that does is it deletes the index from the list. All right. And remember index, we've subtracted 1 already, so it should be the right one. Okay. And then what we can do is we can print a nice, lovely message. Item removed. Okay. And then we're going to just have an else statement here as well. We're going to say incorrect, incorrect index. So they know what they've entered is wrong. Okay. I'm just going to add in some comments here. So this would be viewer task. Remove a task. Okay. So just a reminder again, everything you've learned for your assignment, we've done by now. Anything extra now is just to finish this program off. So you've got the knowledge for it. Okay. But everything for your assignment, we've already completed by now. Is everyone clear with what I've done for removing a task? Is there any questions about why we've written a certain line or what we've done something for? And I'm just going to run it again just to show you. So we're going to add 2 tasks now. I'm going to say, right, book, read book, for simplicity. And then if I view my, oh no, I need to add a task and then I need to say read book. I want to view my tasks. You can see there. Now I want to remove a task, enter the item I want to index, I want to remove read book. So I'm going to say 2. And that says item removed. Now, if I press view, you can see it just as 1. Markers complete. I'm going to come on to now. Okay, task list. Okay. Okay, so for marking as complete, with the way we've done it, you can't use dot update, okay? No, the 2 else's are not aligned because this else is for this bit here, Ingrid. So this else is for checking if the index fits within the line. So that's one if statement. And this else is for this if statement. And that is to check whether the actual, if there are any tasks within the list. So they're 2 different if statements. They're just embedded within another. Does that make sense? So this else statement, if and else statement are together, they're a pair. And this if and else statement are a pair. Okay? The if and else need to be aligned. Okay? So each if kind of wants an else, and each if wants an else, yeah? Whereas the else's don't need to be aligned with each other because they don't belong with the same pair. You only have one else for each if statement. Okay, so for markers complete, we're going to need a whole new section because remember, the complete, how we've stored it, Anthony, is we've done it as a dictionary. So we stored it here as a dictionary, task and complete. So what we need to do is we need to use a loop to get within this bit and we need to mark that to true. Okay, mine doesn't seem to run right. Okay, Ingrid, let me have a little look. Oh no, that's fine. Sorry, actually. No, you've not sent anything. That was the last one. Is everyone with me so far for removing? Is that working for everyone? And then I can move on to marking as complete. Either let me know in the chat, guys, or just speak out loud and just let me know if I'm okay to move on or if you've got any questions. Okay, a thumbs up from Anthony. I think that means to move on. Okay. Awesome. Everyone else, how are we doing? Henok, are we okay? Do we understand this?
Yeah, I do understand, but I need to leave. Can
Mhm.
I catch up with you on Saturday? Hopefully it will work.
Absolutely. Yes. Give it a go by Saturday. If it doesn't work for you still, we'll have a long chat then and we'll try and figure it out.
What about can I have someone help me in the group chat? Is that possible?
Do you mean on the website?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean if you've got any trouble then just message in on there. It'll be me and I'll help you throughout the week. We can see if we can figure it out then. If not, we'll try and do it on Saturday together. Okay?
Okay, I'll try to log in later today if it's okay on the
Yeah,
chat
no,
group.
of course, absolutely fine. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for today. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, take care. Bye. Right, Adele, I'm noticing a thumbs up. So are we all good?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Right, Alessandra, are you okay?
Yes, I'm following. I
Okay.
think I will have to go back to recordings for bits and here and there, but yes, good.
Okay, amazing. And Ingrid, give me a thumbs up too. Amazing, guys. Well done. You guys are doing so well for this session, to be fair. I'm going at lightning pace to try and get all of this in. Right. Okay, so our next bit is going to be marking a task as complete. So again, we're going to go with our standard bit now that you guys are really familiar with. We're going to go with action equals, and we're going to say C. Okay. And remember, we want to, again, check whether there are tasks in the list or there's no point. Okay. So we want to do our standard statement here that we've done in previous two. If tasks, and we will do the bit there. But if there aren't anything, we want to print no tasks in the list. So this is one pair of if statements. Now, everything else now is going to be within, if there are any tasks, we want to mark it as complete. Okay. Right. So again, this is actually quite simple and it's really similar to removing a task. So we want to find out the index of the item we want to mark, right? So that'll again be exactly the same line as this. So we want to say index equals, and remember, because it's a new if statement and it will start again and it will refresh all our variables, it doesn't matter. We can use the same name. We can still use index, okay? Because it starts fresh for every while loop. So every loop of the big main program, okay? So we're going to say index equals int input, same as before. But this time we're going to say enter the index you want to mark as complete. Okay, and once you've done that, you want to go -1 because we want to remember computers start counting from 0. So we want to take 1 away. And then, again, similar to the last task, we want to check whether the index is actually right. So we're going to say 0 index length of the list. then what we want to do is we want to mark it as complete. So all we need to do is we need to go into the tasks list. So remember, so we want to go into tasks, which is the list of the item, and we want to go to the actual item of the index. So we want to go to I, because I will be index will be whichever one that the user has entered. And for each index, remember, we have a complete section, right? So we want to go to complete. Okay, and we want to
Hello?
mark that.
Sorry, I'm in a meeting.
Right. So what we want to do is index complete. We're going to just mark that as true. Okay, so it was false initially. All we've done is marked it as true. And now we just want to print. Task marked as complete. So that's all we need to do. And else, so remember, we've done this to check whether the index is right. If the index isn't right, like here, we want to just print out invalid and incorrect index. And because in our view tasks, we've already taken care of to mark it as X if it's complete, we don't actually need to do anything. All we need to do is set it to true. Okay, so now if I run my program and I want to add a task, and I'm going to add read book, watch TV. Now, if I view my tasks, it's empty. So if I want to mark a task as complete, I want to go C, enter the task. I want to mark 1 as complete. It's marked. Now, if I go V, you can see the X is already going to be in there, okay? Because in the V section for viewing, we've already taken care. Because we've marked it as true, it will automatically put an X in there for us. Everyone clear with that? That is the final part, and now our program is complete, okay? We've done every single task. And our program is now complete, so I can quit. And you guys have done every section of that. Right. Have a go at just writing that, because I know I've just sped through that. And just let me know if that's working for you or if there are any issues. If you understand it as well, if there's bits you don't understand, please ask me. I will break it down again. But you can see how marking a task and removing it were really similar. I hope this doesn't put you guys off coding. Sorry, this is a chunky program, but hopefully you guys can see how far you guys have come and the complexity of the programs that you guys are writing now. Question. Nope, no question. Okay. My chat keeps pinging, but I don't seem to. Ah, okay. I see, Anthony. All good. Okay, awesome. I'm glad it's all working for you, Anthony. Take care and see
Thanks a
you.
lot.
All right, no worries.
Thanks for that. Thank you. Goodbye.
No worries. Bye, bye, bye. How's everyone else getting on? Are we okay?
I found one box in
Mhm.
my code, but I mean, I don't see what is the problem. I see the problem, but I don't know what causing it. A
Okay.
second.
But can you share your code with me, Adele? And I can have a look?
Yeah, and I explain what I found it.
Okay.
So it works nicely,
Mhm.
but when I add two tasks,
Okay.
and after I give a wrong index, it doesn't printing me out incorrect index when I want to mark it.
Okay. So,
It's giving the error message, and then after just quitting the program.
okay. Right.
So
You're entering two
try
tasks.
to run, like adding two tasks.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then after if you give a wrong index,
Okay. Sorry. No, we've not added in two tasks. Let me.
I wanna complete it. I wanna complete it.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got write and read now, and now we want to complete it.
Yeah, and I want complete, and you give a wrong index.
Okay. Wrong index 6.
Oh, for me, it's not doing this. For me, it's completely quitting the program. I don't know why.
Okay. From what you've shared with me, everything seems to be working fine. Let me just quickly just look through your code.
Okay,
If there's anything missed.
in that case, it's fine.
Yep, that if is fine. The tasks.
Oh, now it's working.
Is that
Okay,
working?
maybe it was something else. Thank you. In that case, everything fine.
Okay, no worries
Thanks.
at all. That's okay. Right, awesome. So that's yourself. Okay. If you guys are all okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly hover back over to the assignment. So this is what you need to do next time. So your program should start with a welcome message and then display a menu of options, which is adding an income, adding an expense, viewing your financial summary, or quitting the program. Again, by viewing financial summary, all that is just printing your incomes and expenses. You can go fancier with it and you can do some calculations if you want. You don't have to. The by what I mean by viewing financial summary is very similar to this in terms of when I say view a task, it just needs to be something like this. Okay. Income, expenses, or incomes and then expenses one after the other. That's fine. Okay. And quitting the program. And you should be able to add both incomes and expenses separately. So that should be two different sections. And the financial summary should display the total income, total expenses, and the remaining balance after deducting incomes and expenses. Okay. So we could do some additions and subtractions to try and work out all the total incomes and expenses. If you can't figure that bit out and you just want to do the incomes and expenses, that's fine. But try and do the remaining balance as well. Okay. Because you've not got to do the checking to see if complete. You don't need to mark for this one, so it'll be a bit different. All right. So I'm just going to go back over to the code here. So if you understood that and everything's working for you, you can leave. That's absolutely fine. Thanks for staying all the way to the end. If you've got questions, I'm here now to answer any questions. Are we okay, guys? Alessandra, Ingrid? No worries at all. Thank you. Take care, Adele. See you next week. Oh, Alessandra's okay. Amazing.
Hi there. I'm still having problems. What I'm going to do though is because I have to jump around 3 different screens on my iPad, which makes everything that much slower and
Yeah.
subject to small errors happening. So I'm going to go through it. Unfortunately, every weekend I've been away and not able to join the groups, which is just so unfortunate. Next weekend I'll finally be back, but so I'm just wondering if it's possible if I can just drop an email if I have a problem somewhere with my code. Is that possible?
That's fine. What you can do is if you go on the website, into the group chat, and then if you want to
Okay.
put it in there, that'll
Actually,
be
I'm sure I have it. And let me just make sure that I have the group chat details. One sec. It sounds terrible. Just in case
No, that's all right. It's fine. So this is the website.
just to make sure.
sure.
Here, let me just write them down.
Yeah.
Sorry, just trying to do
Yeah, that's all good.
3 things. I mean, it's really hard to sort of walk, chew gum,
Mhm.
and do coding at the same time. Okay. And then I just sign in. Okay, and then I just go to the group chat. Okay, I'll drop in the group chat
Yeah.
because
That's absolutely fine. And again, if that doesn't work for you, just email it in, no problem.
oh no, it's just so hard to go between the 3 screens. And when I have to do things like write in the chat or put up an up thumb, that it throws everything. I'm suddenly starting from scratch again. It's really, I need to get a proper computer clearly, but I just don't want to get it yet.
That's all right. I think that would help, but it's okay. You're still doing really well for being-
I wouldn't say I'm really doing really well. I'm understanding some stuff and then getting completely lost by semicolons. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much. I appreciate your time today.
No worries. Absolutely fine. All right. And
All
any
right, okay.
All right then. Take care, Ingrid.
Bye.
Bye.